Today's video is all about cap casualties. I got 4 candidates who were players on this football team that I think potentially could get released, and there's going to be many reasons why, various reasons: production, contract, fit, age. Who do they replace if they were to cut this guy? What would the plan be? So that's what we got for this video. If you are a fan of this channel, smash that like button. Why is that? It pushes the content when you hit it so more people can view it. Let's get to 300 likes with your help. It can happen. Let's get it started. I'm not even going to waste too much time here. The first cut candidate that I have on this list here is going to be Glasgow, the Lions' current left guard, next to Taylor Decker. Now, look, he has been on this team since 2016. I went to Denver for a little bit, but we drafted him, 32-year-old guard. And he played well for the Detroit Lions, not this past season, but the previous season. And he signed that 3-year, $20 million deal last year, in the average salary of 6.6 and signed a bonus of 5.5. Why could the Lions be cutting Glasgow? Who could be his replacement? Glasgow's production was not as good this past season, and it has been. He went to a different side. I think that he is paid a lot of money at 6.6. That's quite a bit. Now, look, you're going to get a dead cap hit for sure, but for the Detroit Lions, saving some cap, and then I think most importantly, his is more of production phase. I feel like Christian Mahogany, he came in there, who the Lions drafted him last year, and did a pretty stinking good job, in my opinion. And so if the Lions were wanting to cut some players, they want to cut some fat, Glasgow most definitely could be on that list of players who they can cut. You look at the Detroit Lions, the cap space right now, an allocation right now, we're $56.7 million. That's 8th best in the NFL. We cut a cap. We cut get a couple million from Glasgow there, and maybe we'll move up to the 7th or 6th best cap. But the Lions, most definitely, if they're to cut Glasgow, I think it's more of production based. Smash that like button, folks. Let's get to 300 likes. With your help, it can most definitely happen. Next player on my a list of a cut candidate, and a player that potentially could be going bye-bye, and that is Za'Darius Smith. Now, I do not want Za'Darius Smith to get cut, but he is a cut candidate. There's no doubt about it. The 6'4", 270 edge who we traded for this past offseason, he did some good work for the Lions, I thought, this year. Now, a lot of people was thinking this guy is going to be Hendon Hutchinson, and if you actually expected that, that's quite ludicrous, because he is not that bad, right? He was not going to be that good, and he was not that bad since you didn't get it, right? A lot of people, I expect him to be Marcus Davenport, not Hendon Hutchinson. You look at his contract, it's really not that bad. He's got 1 year left on his deal. He's got an average salary of 11.5 and a signing bonus of 10.7. If they really wanted to, if they needed that money, folks, they can restructure the contract. It's not a bad thing. And we're talking about a pass rusher that could be opposite of Hendon Hutchinson. So the production is pretty good, if you ask me, in my opinion. It's just one of those things where if the Lions were to go ahead and go in a different route, then you're going to have to redo Za'Darius Smith. You're going to have to find another player, another pass rusher, and I think that can be a problem for sure. It can be a little bit of a problem. And so I think it's important for the Lions here to be smart, and I would keep Za'Darius Smith. I personally would keep Smith. I think that would be the route that I would like to go, and the route that I think we should look at. You look at the other players on this list for cap, right? We have a lot here. Jared Goff is at $32 million. Honestly, that's not much for a quarterback. $23 million, and Frank Ragnow at $14 million. You come down here, Za'Darius Smith is way down here, right? Za'Darius Smith, in my opinion, is someone that should be on this football team, and if they really want to just reduce his salary, That's all you got to do is reduce the salary. There's I just don't think it's a smart idea to get rid of a pass rusher when you already need a pass rusher. We are thin at this position, 100%, even with Aiden Hutchinson coming back, right? Davenport is a free agent, folks. So he's not on here. We got a couple free agents right here. Free agents. So we're going to need a pass rusher. And I know that the Lions are going to go ahead and they're going to draft one. There's no doubt about it. But we still need players on this football team to produce that are veterans for this. We're in winning mode. We're not in losing mode. We're not in that type of mode. We're in here to win. Smash that like button, folks. Let's get to 300 likes in this video. With your help, it can happen. The next player on my list that I think that the Detroit Lions could look to cut here, and that is a linebacker, and that's Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Now, he has been a special teams player for the Detroit Lions the past couple of years. He left free agency, came back, right? Jalen Reeves-Maybin has been a net positive, I feel like, for this football team for sure in special teams, and he's not too bad as a backup linebacker in my opinion, right? You look at his contract right here. He's got 2 years, $7.5 million. He's got 1 year left on his deal, an average salary of $3.7 million, a signing bonus of $2.5. We could save a little bit of money by cutting Mr. Jalen Reeves-Maybin to free up some of that cap space that has been plaguing this team, not really at all, because we are good fiscally. I think when it comes to a Jalen Reeves-Maybin, this is more of a production-based type of deal. We're talking about a player who is special teams, and he's good at special teams, but he's not bringing a whole lot on defense. When he did come out, especially after the injury last year, because he was an injury-prone player, he did not produce well. He was not good, actually. I didn't like what he produced. I think that the Lions could go in a different direction if they really wanted to. Cut him. You can bring in other players to help this football team out. Let's go ahead and get into another cap casualty, and this has nothing to do with finances. This is more of production on the field, and that is a young player here, and that's Brodric Martin. Why do I have him as a cut candidate? Well, because he hasn't done anything. Really anything. It's injury or he's still on the sideline. Again, it has nothing to do with his contract, right? His contract has nothing to do with his contract, right? He signed that 4-year, $5.3 million, average salary of $1.3 million. He's actually really cheap, right? Because he's on his rookie deal. But we need to have production. And Brodric Martin hasn't produced. Matter of fact, the coach that was all on his back is no longer here, right? He left. He went to another team. So we have Brodric Martin, a guy who's kind of on his own right now, and he hasn't produced. There's been issues, and he may get cut because he's just not good enough. And that's the bottom line, in my opinion. Not to do with anything else. He's just not he's not produced. Now, look, if he comes out and does better and starts producing, Levi Nuzurike, we've seen his growth, right? We've seen other growth from other players. We've seen Lee McNeil, third-round pick. All these players, and you got Broderick, by the way, he's a third-round pick we traded up for. All these other players are help producing. All these other players we're getting something out of them, but Brodric Martin hasn't done anything yet. Now, I'm not ready to give up on him because he's still in his rookie deal, but he's got to come out this training camp, and he's got to perform well in training camp, right? He's got to come out in training camp and do a phenomenal job, because if he doesn't, he's going to get cut, and that's going to be a production-based, not anything else, but a production-based. What do you guys think in the comments? Should the Detroit Lions cut Brodric Martin? Should they keep him? Let me know your thoughts. Let's get back to here. I want to just talk about some other contracts that we can look at here. Again, Lions are really good fiscally. We've already seen it. Jared Goff, Taylor Decker. We've been solid with contracts, and I think even DJ Reader is fine. But not bad contracts. Really, there's not. You just got the Graham Glasgow, right? That's really it, man. It's just they're so smart when it comes to these contracts. Now, look, they can definitely cut other people. We could look at tight ends, right? We don't really know who's going to be the 3 tight ends. We know probably 2, right? You're going to have obviously Sam Laporte. You're going to have Brock Wright, but we don't know if Shane Zylstra will be there, whoever. But we have been really good with contracts and really smart. Unlike years past, I felt like we have definitely screwed the pooch with contracts. We didn't do good enough jobs. But this year, it is the opposite. I feel like they've done a pretty darn good job for sure with these contracts. So we'll see. We'll see going forward for this team. But we got money to make some moves, folks. So, and the moves that we're going to be making is re-signing our own guys. So if you're thinking, we need to go out there and we need to sign this free agent because we're the 8th best right now in cap, that's not going to be the case, though, because we got to re-sign and we got to extend our guys. So understand that's what they're going to be doing in free agency is probably bringing back our own guys, extend our own guys. We'll have a free agent here and there that's not from this football team, probably depth purposes, but I fully expect them to look within here. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Adios.